3, 2, 1, action!
Hi, and welcome to another Empathy Tale. This is Victoria Wolders. I'm so excited that you've joined us today. I am going to start moving towards not saying the episode, so just so you know, even though I guess we could say this is episode 16, we have done 15 episodes already, and I know iTunes and Google would recommend us not doing the episodes, so I am going to stop doing the episodes and just share these stories. Today's story is The Tears and the Rain, and I'm really excited to share this story with you. And here are some thoughts that you might want to start with before you listen to the story. Have you ever met someone new and you are so excited about the new friendship? There have been no tears, no arguments, no fights, and it's the hope that this friendship may not include any of these bad parts at all. Well, today's story is about a woman named Thea who meets a fairy named Abigail. Thea learns a valuable lesson about friendship and nature. While I read, think about your friendships and what makes them important to you. The Tears and the Rain. Once upon a time, there lived a lonely woman in the magical forest in the Oak and Eagle Kingdom. She lived in the land of the Eastern Eagles. Her name was Thea. She lived alone for many years, and when Thea tried to be around people, she had a hard time doing that because she had a hard time understanding her emotions and feelings. In the past, when her family was grieving the passing of her mother, she would say to them, "I don't know how you feel. I'm sad, but I don't really know how to feel. You're all crying, and I don't like crying." If someone said to her, "Do you know how it feels to be lonely?" she'd always say, "No, I don't. I don't know how it feels to be lonely." Thea would walk away. Often when she would see people crying or upset or even have an opportunity to spend time with friends and family, she chose to be by herself. As she got older, she chose to build a cottage in the magical forest. There she would sit at the windowsill every day and look out. Her cottage was facing a path, and this path was the exact path that many fairies would walk. The fairies would walk daily to get to their village and then back to their homes. She became familiar with all the fairies' faces, yet they didn't know she was looking at them. She was a very lonely lady. She would often want to say hi to them, but she didn't know how they would feel, and they probably wouldn't want to talk to her because she was a stranger. One bright summer afternoon, there were fairies that were walking on this path, and there was this beautiful one with translucent wings. And the fairy accidentally tripped and fell, unfortunately. This beautiful fairy's wing broke. Well, all of a sudden, Thea jumped up from her window seat, ran to the door, opened the door, and ran out. At this time, there wasn't any other fairies around except for this one single fairy who was hurt. Thea picked up the fairy very gently and walked her back to her cottage. She took care of the fairy, and the fairy was very appreciative. The fairy turned to her and gently whispered, "My name is Abigail, and because of your goodness, your care, and your tenderness, I will give you 3 wishes." Well, Thea looked at her and said, "Well, thank you so much. I would like my 3 wishes. My first wish is that I have you visit every single day." Thea was very excited because she was excited to have a friend around her to spend some time with. Abigail responded, "Yes, I will grant that for you." Thea turned to her, saying, "I have a second wish, and the second wish is that I do not ever want to cry again. I do not want a single tear to be shed from my eye." Abigail was confused. "Are you sure you want to do this? It will be hard for you to have a shared experience with other people and to enjoy pain and joy together. Even though pain is difficult, tears help relationships." Thea continued to say, "I don't want any tears anymore." So Abigail granted Thea's wish. Thea's last wish was she would not want any more rain to fall on her land. The fairy cautioned her, "Are you sure about that? That means that it's going to affect your land." Thea looked at her. "I don't like rain. I want sunshine all the time." The fairy responded, "Okay, I've granted you 3 wishes." Thea smiled for the first time in a long time. The fairy smiled back. The fairy left, and the next day the fairy came back to visit. Over the next couple weeks, Abigail came every day. Thea always made sure she had a cup of tea ready and they would spend some time together. Time went by, and unfortunately, Abigail's mother passed away. Her fairy mother had passed away suddenly, and she came to Thea's door very sad. "I am very sad right now because my mother died." Abigail started crying, and Thea looked at her. "I don't understand why you're crying. I don't cry. I can't help you. You can leave now." Abigail was sad that Thea couldn't feel what she felt. There was no rain that fell. Over the coming months, flowers dried up. The creek close to the village dried up. And unfortunately, over time, even the beautiful cedar trees that surrounded the cottage were drying up. Abigail came to Thea as usual in the morning. However, she was sad. Thea did not understand her sadness. Thea chose to judge Abigail. "Abigail, stop being so sad. This is your life. Your mother has passed away." Abigail looked at Thea. "I used to call you my friend because you healed me and helped me, yet you choose not to empathize with me. The pain I feel, you have felt, but your choice to not let yourself feel my pain with me leads to a dull relationship filled with judgment and sympathy. You need to feel pain to feel joy. You need to feel pain to build a healthy relationship. This is hard. Oh, so hard and so painful. Do you realize that with no tears and with no rain, it is hard for you and your land to grow? It's hard for you to connect with people and have a shared experience. Not only that, but the insects are now dying. The fish that used to come to the creek aren't there anymore. The birds that used to sit in these trees don't come by anymore because they don't have any insects to eat. Do you realize that your wishes have hurt you more than they've helped you? They've hurt me more than they've helped me. Thea looked at Abigail. I see what you see now. I feel what you feel now. I was wrong. I have lost the opportunity to be able to care for you and to empathize with you, to feel what you feel. And I have also lost the opportunity to have beautiful nature grow around me and insects and animals to flourish on my land because I chose there to be no rain. They don't come around anymore because there is no rain that falls on my land. How do I change that? Help me. The fairy bowed her head down. I will take back the last two, but the first one I will keep. I will continue to visit you, and I hope that we can share many joys and tears. In joy, both of us can sit together and enjoy the sunshine, and also the rain, and recognize the goodness that comes when we have water fall from the sky. We are all connected, and we need to appreciate the beauty of the water that flows from our eyes and the water that flows from the sky. With that, they hugged each other, and the old woman learned the importance of tears and rain. Thank you so much for joining us today for another Empathy Tale. I hope you've taken some time to think about this story and about how sometimes difficulties can actually lead to connection and building relationships with other people. I hope as you go away from the story that you will be able to create compassion one story at a time in your life and choose to be kind to those around us. Thank you so much for joining us once again. And reach out to me at mykidslocker.com if you have any suggestions, any stories, or ideas that we can include in Empathy Tales. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
3, 2, 1.